Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Yep, we're live now. You can start the meeting anytime.
Okay. Good evening, and welcome to the Borough Park Summit Council meeting, March 1st, 2023. In attendance, we have Mr. Beston.
Here.
Ms. Lopez.
Present.
Ms. Simra.
Present.
Solicitor Hayes.
Here.
Mr. Mitchell.
Here.
Mayor Kelly isn't here yet. Ms. Kehoe.
Here.
Mr. Jenkins.
Here.
Ms. Shields.
Here.
And Chief Humans.
Here.
We'll stand for a moment of meditation and we'll have the chief lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is the approval of our agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Aaron. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, favors have it. 7-0.
No minutes, sorry.
Okay.
That's okay. Next item is our public comment and input.
Before we get into it, Mr. Dom obviously wasn't able to make it. He was going to try tonight, but he wasn't sure. He asked me to speak to you guys, and I did send an email, but if you didn't see it, he's with that the kids club that came to. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see you coming.
Oh,
That's right.
Mr. Dom,
Hello.
did not see you.
So we had much longer hair. Hello, good evening,
oh, good
everybody. So you remember me, maybe you remember me.
Mhm.
So I am on the PTA at CSE, and we are having an after-school program that's run by the PTA with different clubs, yoga, gym, typing, all sorts of things. And one club is that we started about a year and a half ago. It's called our community club, where we take elementary school students and we just walk through the borough to some of our community institutions. And we visited the Borough building a year ago, and we've gone to the post office, the fire station, the police department, different businesses. And this is really well received, and we're doing a new iteration. And so I just dropped by this morning today to just talk about, we wanted to come to the Borough again and maybe talk to some of you or even just the administration, just for the kids to learn something about our community. Because when we did this last time, we took a photo downstairs outside the building and I said, well, could anybody read what it says here? They could read Clark Summit, but nobody, not even the fourth graders, could read Borough. And then I said, well, does anybody know what that is? Nobody knew what a Borough was. So this is something they don't really learn in school. And so we have that here. We're a 10-minute walk away. So we thought, why don't we just, teach them a little bit of that?
Sure.
The other thing is that many of our kids, even the third, fourth graders, they've never walked in the downtown of Clark Summit. They only see it through the windows of their parents' SUVs and minivans. And so this is just such a great experience. And so we don't, we go wherever, whoever wants to have us, we go for, and the program runs each club for an hour total from 3 to 4 o'clock. But by the time we've made it here, it's 3:15 and we have to go back home by 3:45. So we have like a half hour where anybody wants to talk to us and has something he wants to tell the kids and wants to teach them and share with them, we're happy to have that. So if there's anything you want to tell them about what government works, what civics is, what a borough is, how the state of Pennsylvania is divided up, that'll be great. Or if the police has something, I was downstairs also and spoke with Nicole, and she said, you can't make any promises because you might always be called to something more important. But we can pencil something in either on the 23rd or the 30th, because we're meeting for this club on every Thursday in March. That's when we have our dates. And so, yeah, we're just, if anybody has any ideas and if you could come by and meet, or somebody wanted to come to the school, that's fine, but we kind of like that walking through, through our town.
So do
And
we,
see
are
what's going on.
we, can we have some volunteers to be here at 3 o'clock on a Thursday?
I would be here.
Okay, and do you want to pick the 23rd or the 30th? Do you have?
Well,
those are
that's
the-
what we thought, well, last time we did it, I think we spent all our time here, and there was somebody from the police department here, and they couldn't do more than, so we thought we might split it up and do two different.
Oh,
things.
okay, so you're asking us the 23rd and.
No, so we already have the 23rd and the 30th pretty much settled up, and actually we'd like to see if it's okay to do it early, so we actually have the 9th would be great, or even tomorrow would be possible, but we could do an intro at school just ourselves, so I think the best days for us would be tomorrow or the 9th. But we'll try to be.
Yeah, and definitely go to the police station. That'd be a lot of fun.
That will be fun, but it's everything. I mean, we did, the post office was the best thing because they remember what's going on inside the post office and they could see this is where your mail goes and so there's so much mundane things for us as adults that are just the greatest things for the kids.
That sounds great.
Okay, so we're gonna go with tomorrow or the 9th. The 9th is better for me if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the 9th at 3 o'clock, well,
Why don't we pencil in
3:15.
Could this go into April, or did you want?
Well, so we actually have, this, our session that we're having now on Thursdays, runs just through March. We're planning another iteration from mid-April to mid-May. And if this is well received, which I expect we'll have another community club. And then we'll do it all again, maybe with different community institutions, maybe with the same. If there is something, if there's a lot of stuff we couldn't all finish up, maybe we'll come back. But we don't know the weekday yet, so it could be any day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in April or May. It's just for March, we have the dates settled out.
9th of March for June.
Okay,
And-
next Thursday at 3, we'll be ready for you.
We'll just come by and I'll come by the day before to touch base to make sure everything's good up.
And any other council members that could be available.
And I'll send a reminder email out for everybody.
Virginia, you can put me down.
Okay.
It's 3 o'clock.
Right.
I'll get up early.
Well, from your now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Bobby, you're gonna be here.
Well, actually, I won't be able to make that.
Huh?
I'm next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna
Okay,
be in
no
Bradford
problem.
County.
No problem. But Kathleen, great. So we'll have some good people. Jerry, of course, will be here. Okay, great.
Thank you, thank you.
I may, I would just like to extend the invitation, if you're on the second floor and on the basement, you certainly can come on the first floor and bring them into the gathering.
Okay. Very nice.
And that's 501.
That's an excellent idea, Gloria. We can make it out.
Sandwich ready for food.
Thank you. And do we have anyone else who, Dave, I think you would like to adjourn. It's good to see you here tonight. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Thank you.
David Maher, 530 Knapp Road. On my recent walks around the borough, I've noticed the deteriorating condition of the Wells gas station. And I see that the pumps are still there, so I'm thinking, what's underground still, and is there anything in those tanks? And I don't know if anybody knows that, or if that's been brought up before.
I can answer that.
Okay.
We've already dealt with the EP, or the DEP is monitoring those tanks
In them now?
at,
There's gas in them or?
I don't know if they're full or empty, but they are being monitored. In fact, Wells is keeping electric on to make sure that the sensors are always working, and DEP does spot check and inspect. So I know.
The building is deteriorating.
Yes.
The doors are pushed in and pretty bad shape, so.
We've been discussing this just recently because, I mean, when you come into Clark Summit, that's the first thing that you
Yeah,
see,
really.
you know?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we have someone that is interested in buying it. And I did stop by Art Wells. I left him a note there to get in touch with me. The unfortunate thing, when CBS was buying up all that property around there, he could have sold
Missed the boat.
450,000, but
Yeah.
He didn't want to do, part with it because his dad was his dad.
Right, I understand. I
But-
understand, but-
Which was not a very smart move on his part.
In the interim, we can definitely have code enforcement go. If there is open doors, we can deal with that. If it's unattractive, there's not a whole lot we can
Well, no,
do,
I'm-
but until there's,
Really worry about that. I'm
but
worried
once
about
there's safety
what's on the
issues, we,
Yeah.
the ground though is being monitored by DEP. So that's not to worry. And we will make sure that any openings in the building are addressed in the interim.
ground. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And. Janine,
Oh,
would you
yeah,
like
hi.
to-
I'm just, Janine Ford, Clark Summit, obviously. I'm just responding to what Chief Yarn said about, getting a dog cage, so I brought you one.
Oh.
I thought, well, you know what, I had an extra one sitting there, so I'd like to just present this to the chief.
Thank you.
It says dog cage.
All right.
So that way, at least you have like something to start with, and then I just gave you like a little care package. So there's newspapers in here, and a blanket, and then a bag of food and a bowl,
Oh, wow.
and doggy bags. I figured you had gloves, and so I just wanted to donate because you've been so kind in helping me, and the community is so concerned. I just wanted to bring one thing to the attention of the borough. I had an incident, unfortunately, with one of my cats. She's indoor and outdoor, and Officer Kaiser was really kind to be the one who responded. She had something in her side, and I thought, she's a gray cat that's from Philadelphia that I rescued, and I thought, oh, that looks weird, maybe it looks like a tick, and I'm thinking a tick in February. I was like, wait a minute. So as I scratched it, it was a pellet she had been shot at. In Clark Summit, and so I took her up to the vet, so the vet confirmed it, and I took the pellet to a armory that's up in the Dalton Do-It Center, and he confirmed that it's a common pellet from a pellet gun. He said, but anybody that shot her was at close range, and they knew it was a cat. She also wears a red collar, and they said they said it was, he said it looks intentional because of the distance. It stuck right in the side of her. He said she's really lucky because ideally what they do is they try to shoot as many pellets in so that they die of metal poisoning in the body. So he was super, super kind to respond and write it up. And I had the vet actually send him the documents from the vet visit, the x-rays and everything they did. And luckily she only had one. So I asked him, had there been any reports in the neighborhood of any animals being shot, and I hadn't heard anything. You know, there's always the buzz with animal owners, we all kind of stay in touch. And he said, no, there wasn't any reports of it. So just kind of like in my situation, like an escalation of, you know, what's going on. I mean, like I said, she wears a collar. You know, other animals are out. There's, in fact, there's the vet tech who is down the street who has adopted a cat from the neighborhood, who she keeps a window open upstairs, and somehow the cat gets in and like goes in and out. And the cat actually came up to visit me at my porch about a week ago, and I saw the little collar on the cat and what have you. So it's not like it's my cat's the only one that's out there,
Oh, sure.
you know, but I just wanted to bring it to like everybody's attention that there's an animal shooter out there. So-
At least
Yeah.
keep our eyes.
So just keep your ears open and what have you. And I've just been watching the cat's behavior and stuff. And like I said, the officer Kaiser was just super, just fantastic to deal with, very compassionate. And just gonna put up a poster and offer a reward too, and see if that kind of snuffs out any conversation with people so that they might know about it
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff. So I
That's
just,
certainly wouldn't hurt either.
yeah, so I just want to bring that to your attention is that, you know, all this with animals, I don't know what's going on now. Why, like I said, somebody's starting to shoot at the animals. Especially when they're collared and they're close enough that you can tell that it's, you know, not a squirrel or something. So, but, you know, that's going on. So I won't take it personal, but I'm kind of taking it personal, but thank you again, Chief Ryan. And like I said, hopefully you can use that.
Thank you for your.
Yeah, my pleasure. And as soon as you said you might need to get a dog cage, I'm like, I
Well, I
appreciate
thought,
that.
you know, we get hold of them for 4 or 5, 6 hours or something. That way we won't drop them off there. And if someone claims the dog quick enough, we can. We obviously couldn't keep the dog for 12 hours or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, but
And so shelter.
that's what I thought. When you save us some on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wooden crate was nice. I checked with some other places, so I can get a bigger crate. I think depends what kind of dog, because I've rescued a couple. I know when Eric was on beat, I had heard the dog barking and I went up to see what was going on, and I actually engaged with the dog on his behalf to get the dog away from the owner, because the dog was overreacting. And it was kind of then I wondered then, a few years ago, what you did with the dog. Like, does the dog stay in the police, car? Like the whole, like.
Well, we think about, when we took him to the Humane Society, and night was a drop off.
Right.
The combination door. It's the size of a large closet, the cages in there, food and water. We put them in the cage, food and water, fill out a form. The next morning they show up and they go into this room. It's attached to the building.
Yeah, it's attached to the building.
They go in there and they, take care of it. They can go back. That's what they usually did. They
Yeah.
have her out.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't know if we got like bad weather or something, but I thought maybe, you might be able to use it, yes, some unusual situation comes up and I had an extra, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sure.
Dory?
Yes. Here. Hi, I guess most of you know me, Joy Waters. I just got to meet you very quick. I'm on the board of the Gathering Place, and I apologize. I guess it's been a while since I've been here, some different faces, but I just like to touch base once in a while. And as a matter of fact, our spring brochures are hot off the press. So I brought one for everyone. There's also a little donation card, but don't feel obligated.
But you have to ask.
So I just thought, why not? So, well, actually, probably our treasurer. But I also came because I wanted to know if you had any questions for me since it's been a while. The touch base, keep you informed. At this current time, we have an exhibit downstairs for the Abington Heights High School. And we do give out scholarships. We raise money with the civically, and we give a grand prize of $500 to a student that's going to go on to a senior who's going to go to college for some kind of degree connected to art. And then we give $300 prizes and four $50 prizes. So that money is all raised through the Civic League. And then come stop down. It's a great exhibit. A lot of very talented young people in this community. So hope somebody finds a class they'd like to take there. I know Josh has brought up the idea that we're going to be putting in raised bed gardens with pollinator, working with the master gardeners and people with special needs. And the one young lady is in a wheelchair. And we've applied for a grant with PNCs to put in these raised beds. So if anybody had questions on that, either, but I'll answer them.
And also I wanted to let you know too, Dory, that the Rotary, they are gonna be putting recycling.
Oh, good. I just sent you
I mean,
a text.
So that definitely will be taken care of.
That's great, Jerry. Thank you.
Sure,
That's wonderful.
sure.
Yeah, it's a nice little park and
It
needs to
sure
be
is, yeah.
maintained
And it's nice that you're able to utilize it like you do,
Mhm.
so.
yeah,
Thank you.
it's interesting. The one day there was a young man sleeping there.
Yeah.
Morning is fine. So it happens. So I won't go on. Any questions? You're all good? You're happy with us?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dory.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to get one of those. Just gotta take a couple.
Yeah, because we did
Jerry Thorsten is raising his hand.
Could I mention something else?
Sure.
I'm sorry, that probably breaks all protocol. I forgot to mention one thing. They wouldn't let me do this at the school board. So one thing that came up during this club is when earlier they wandered through town, they saw the sign of our sister city in Wales, and somebody had the idea, why don't we try to do a pen pal thing with that city in Wales? And one of my predecessors running this club, Gary Rosman, he kind of made contact. And I think he connected with Warren Watkins, who was on the council here, and I think he established this sustainability program. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. If there are no objections, maybe somebody says, oh no, we don't want anything to do with these people anymore. We'll try to make contact, and we have a contact there. And so we'll see what happens. And maybe by next week, we'll afford back and then we'll try to see, and maybe nothing comes of it. But I was surprised that I thought the kids are all on their phones, but when parents heard pen pal program, very old fashioned, they were all into it. And we had more kids sign up for this iteration than the clubs before. So maybe this is a thing we can do and, breathe a little bit of life into that, what that sign promises. So
And then,
we'll see.
and if you need more information, we have it here.
If there is, yeah, and also if there is somebody who wants to weigh in or has something, when we're coming back next week about what sister cities are, what Wales is, why we're doing this, what our Welsh connection is.
Great.
Very good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is our police report.
As you can probably see in the very last page, your arm activation of Dunkin' Donuts. We've been going there a lot. I wrote letters to the management, I spoke to them, with them, wrote some more letters. And I continue to have this alarm that's been going off for 33 times in the last 12 months. So we've been deciding, I think we've decided 4 times so far, February, I think twice in January. I guess we were paying the fines, I don't know.
Did they say what the issue is? Is this just an employee that opens, doesn't know the code?
It's usually the women's bathroom, alarm going off, and it's something hanging from the ceiling, and I don't know why they don't want to take care of it. But it's also in the morning sometimes when the delivery driver comes, he doesn't actually turn it off properly. And we're going down there, so I don't know, it's kind of weird, they listen to me, but they just keep doing this, and
Chris, how much is the fine?
I do $150 like that each time,
So we've never had a problem with them paying the fine though.
So far, they can pay it, I guess, I don't know. So I guess we're just gonna keep going down there. And
Have you
find-
spoken with the owner, not the manager?
I wrote a letter to the owner.
Okay,
And
you did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
Because I know he was really accommodating when we were
They're
working
nice
on the
people, they're always
parking.
nice
Yeah.
down there, just this alarm was, it can't be going on.
Yeah.
It's not fair that alarm
Yeah.
goes off that many times and,
Right.
the laws, there's a Pennsylvania law that said they're not allowed to have more than 3 alarms in a year. So I don't go by that. I think it's more than 1 or 2 a month, then it's 2 a month, Sometimes they just have mechanical problems, technical problems with it, they're trying to address it. And sometimes the buildings that are larger, like Methodist Church, as well as the school, there's a lot of opportunity for alarms to go off because it's a more complicated system. But in this case, I don't know why they just don't fix it, but.
Chris,
Anyway.
what about corporate headquarters? I know these are all privately owned, but the corporation itself, the Dunkin' Donuts, they're very strict.
I guess I could write a letter to them, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's franchise. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I know the corporation does not force around. They want the reputation kept the way it is.
Yeah.
Maybe something from them, maybe that would stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll try again,
Yeah.
I feel like they received it, but they just continue to let it go or something. I don't know, but. Also, we have our aggressive driving grant, which is gonna start on, what they call wave 2. We didn't do wave 1, which was in November, because there's some issues with the DA's office and staffing down there and how things were funded. And the money's still there, so we'll have extra money
Oh, good.
for this. I don't know if anybody knows, it's the money runs from October 1st to September 30th. It's same as the federal government, it's federal funding.
Right.
So we have a grant that starts on March 20th and it goes to April 23rd. So.
Okay.
And then we'll be doing another one in the summer. And there's probably gonna be some money available to do some pedestrian crosswalk as well as DUI. So.
Oh, good.
This one, so. If anybody wants to know that.
Okay.
Chief Jarnes, on a lighter note, we're doing a Clark Summit Day at the Rail Riders. And I got a call from Anthony, who was helping us with that. And he was suggested maybe exploring having Abington Police Appreciation Night at the Rail Riders. I didn't know if that would be something you might be able to gauge, if there's any interest from your department or any of the other departments in the Abingtons about that.
I could, pass the word around, if you give me some sort of email or something, I can.
Yeah, I'll forward you Anthony's information, but if you want to contact him directly and stuff like that. So. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a nice idea, I think, too.
I know we're having
You guys all work together, you know.
we're having I know, Manager Keel has given us a, first responder, party, I think it's up at the Creekside Inn in May.
Oh,
Creekside, Pavilion, I guess, it's up off of 81. We were there last year, Mission Barbecue comes up and to
Right.
to put on the next thing for us. So that's when, we did last year, and I think our department won the I think we going to cornhole. We get $500. And so we have $500 sitting down there, spent on from last year. Kevin Nikauskis and Steve Hall won the
oh,
cornhole
great.
competition.
Wow. That's good. That's always good to know. It really is.
That's something that I've Keeler every year for whole having and
Very
and fire department too. Fire department. So-
good. Okay, well, I'm sure Bob can get you all the information you'll need there.
Yeah. You got for me like
Yeah. Okay.
other than that, it's been kind of a busy month, but we're doing all right. We're doing okay. So
Does anybody have any questions for our chief? Or our mayor? Johnny.
very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, chief.
Thank you, Chief. Yep, I did want to probably say, we had probably saw in the paper the other day was, fees off of the rest of the person for the child porn, that was actually our chief. I don't know why you mentioned it.
I know you
It was what?
good ink.
We're so worried that we were, they helped us with it. But they just took all that credit. That was also, because we did that, I worked on that for last Friday, we wrestled that experience.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Well, bravo.
Good work.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks. That was also kind.
Maybe you'll get a correction on the paper.
Yeah, what are you gonna do, That happens.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah.
We can get it right up.
That'll give you a good shot at.
Always got my back, no, but. Okay, thank you.
Bids and quotes, we have none. for
Sorry,
Virginia.
good night.
For the treasury report, do we have? No. Who's the treasurer's report?
Almost.
All right. Okay, Kathleen, and second by Josh. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0.
Geez, thanks.
Vendor payments to be ratified, we have a motion to pay the bill.
I'll motion that we pay the bill.
Thank you, Ryan. Do we have a second?
Okay.
Thank you, Frank. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Under full business. Sewer report, we won't have a report because Jen isn't here.
You feeling better?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm good.
The next one is our police regionalization.
I was really hopeful I'd have a substantive report tonight. I had a meeting scheduled 2 weeks ago with Giles Stanton, and he unfortunately had to cancel at the last minute, and we've been playing tag trying to reschedule.
Okay.
So I left a message for him today, so hopefully next month.
Keep moving forward on it. That's
Keep
fine.
trying.
Thank you. The next item's our trash contract. We're going to go into executive session for that.
After the meeting.
Okay. And the next items are nuisance ordinance,
Well,
right?
We've been talking about issues in town and how to deal with them and how we don't have solutions for some of our problems, and Mary Claire and I have talked, and she's handling violations in Scranton. So she might have some ideas for us. She's got some experience in it.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be separate from the noise ordinance, a nuisance ordinance?
Right, so I
Okay.
could speak to how, I mean, in terms of my experience of how it's handled in the city, it's something that's specifically a part of our rental registration ordinance in Scranton. So it does not apply to owner occupied houses. It applies only to rental properties,
Okay.
because that's where it's codified is under the rental registration. So what we have is it's based on police contact. If there's so many police responses in whatever amount of time, then we have the ability to shut down that property for a period of 6 months.
Okay.
So I think there's numerous ways it can be handled, but that's my personal experience. That's what I.
Do
have done.
Airbnbs fall under that as well then?
Airbnbs are, I don't think
Technically,
we,
you're rent.
I don't think they're
renting,
illegal
but-
in town. I don't think
Okay.
we have
Yeah.
any.
Or would it fall under the rent? And I don't know if Clark Summit has anything comparable. The rental registration.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
That might be an issue we should look into, because I think more
Right.
people are renting.
Right.
it's something we can discuss
No.
because, yeah, as that changes, it might be something that you feel is necessary.
So Airbnb is not allowed in our, okay,
And property maintenance is another issue, though, that we use the nuisance ordinance for, and this doesn't address, 'cause most of our property maintenance issues are actually home owner problems,
right.
not rentals. So I don't know if we wanted to. An example, right now, we have a resident up on Oakmont whose backyard faces a house on Grandview. From the road, you can't see this, so we need the owner to take the pictures for us and let us know. But the backyard is filled with junk covered up in tarps. So you don't know what's there, but they just have piles and piles covered in tarps. And I was saying to Mary Claire, well, it sounds like someplace that could harbor an animal. So I would think that it's a safety issue, but we don't have any clear defined tools. I mean, so I don't know if we want to invest money and time in trying to define some of these problems and address them, because we do get them routinely. I mean, we cannot deal with somebody that doesn't like the way something looks.
Right.
If there's not a safety issue, then, that's our
It's
free
just not
country.
enough for it to not be aesthetically pleasing.
Right,
Okay.
but some of these border on safety issues. The other problem that I talked to Mary Claire about is we have a property maintenance issue with, and there's a few houses or a few properties where we cite them, they pay their fine, they don't do anything. So then we cite them again. So the question became, how quickly from one citation to the other should we recite them again? What is reasonable before we get to the courts on that? So we need to, and can we bypass the citation and bring them right to the magistrate? Right now, I don't think our ordinance allows that, but that's something I think that we need for these habitual problems.
But I mean, I guess, are we gonna try to say it's like a public safety? I mean, there's like a danger the house might fall down, it's dilapidated. there
It's
might
an
be ants,
abandoned
there's-
garage and property that is overgrown. And it's in a very tight neighborhood where the houses are right upon each other. So this is just, the neighbors on either side are just, it's right there
But
in their face.
What are we looking to try to do? Are we trying to
Safe.
have do we want to have the residents like correct it? Are we trying to condemn it? Are we trying to tear it down?
Correct. I mean, if they would go in and cut the grass and weed it and make sure the building
But
was
that's-
safe, that'd be fine. But every time we cite them, they just pay the ticket.
And we have an ordinance though for the grass and stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
We
what we
just don't
cite
have,
them
we
on.
don't have structures and stuff like that, do we?
We do, the
Okay.
safety, so we can go after them if there's openings. For example, when we were talking about wells tonight, if there's a door open or a window that's broken or something, we can address that. But if it's just dilapidated, I mean, until we get permission from the owner to go on and inspect, how do you know where the house is becoming so bad that it's falling down, or that it's no longer safe?
You can go to the
Is that-
district justice and get a warrant to go on.
But is that property condemned? Or no? The property we're discussing.
No, I don't think it is. I think that's something we might want to think about. It's just a garage on there, but it's been 18 years I've been here. Nobody's ever been there. The owners just live remotely and they just ignore it and pay their taxes, pay their fines, and
If you can use the nuisance ordinance to well, like a de facto condemnation of the property. I mean, but you may have to get like an engineer's report so that you have give them an opportunity to correct it or repair it. If they don't do that, then you can take it down and maybe leave the property.
Okay,
But I don't know if that's,
Okay.
something, but right now, but Scranton only uses it on rentals. They don't do it on any homeowners.
Nuisance, we only have codified under our rental registration ordinance. So we have other, in Scranton, other avenues to deal with owner occupied
Mhm.
structures, but we don't shut them down.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yeah.
no, we don't
Right.
evacuate them or unless it's a condemned property and then people have to leave because it's strictly safety. But for purposes of creating a nuisance within their neighborhood, that only relates to rental properties.
Okay,
And,
so
and
that's
who
different than
decides that, like inspectors go in and decide if it's unsafe? Is that
the code enforcement officer. I
the
think.
code enforcement?
Yeah, they would decide if it's something that was condemnable. It would have to, there's different objective standards that they would use. To go into any of these
code
properties.
enforcement can address issues with regard to zoning or anything that we have in our folders, like the nuisance ordinance. When it comes to condemnation, we need to get a building inspector involved. We've been through this with the Wells House on Powell.
Right.
The problem is, again, we need the owner's permission to go onto the property.
Right.
And until you're, from the street, sometimes you really can't say whether that is or isn't safe, or that's about,
Right.
there are, so if things go further than you'd like them to, because we can't, until you have enough ammunition to get a warrant or get the owner to let you on the property.
Right.
So.
Well, it is a sticky wicket,
Mhm.
to.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have Jen get with Mary Claire and see if they can come up with some ideas to move some of these things along, because
Okay, sure.
I mean, too many years we're dealing with the same problems.
Exactly.
That's something we
right.
can
Yeah,
dive into and see what.
right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Under new business, resolution 2023-03, our CDBG agreement.
That is 2023, Grace. There's a typo on there. Yes, CDBG, every year they ask us to sign a new agreement with regard to the CDBG money that we're getting. And we need to pass this resolution authorizing Jerry to sign.
Do we have a motion to pass this resolution?
Make a motion to pass the resolution for the CBP.
Thank you, Bob. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ronnie. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Favors have it 7-0. Thank you. Next is our solicitor's report.
Just one thing that I was looking into, and it was just kind of a loose end from a prior meeting, was when we had Griffin Pond come in to speak to the borough regarding how we should handle those fines. So I can tell you that in Scranton, they're paying that, not fine, I'm sorry, fee, just that fee per animal, and there's no sort of cap. I spoke to one of the council people from Dunmore, and Dunmore hadn't been approached yet about the change. What was interesting was they just had a hoarding issue, and the councilwoman I spoke to said they just reached out to see how we could help, and they said it's going to be 110 per animal. And so she said, she was perceiving it that they were asking for a donation, and I said, no, that's our understanding is that's a fee. So I feel like it hasn't quite made its way to all the municipalities yet for people to figure out how they want to handle it. So I still think it's something that we could discuss accepting, but with some sort of provision where we want some protection in hoarding situations, that there's a contact before a decision is made to give council some ability to weigh in.
Does Scranton
something
have
we
that
can-
provision for
they do
hoarding or
not.
no? Okay.
They do not. Scranton was, I think, absorbing a lot of the costs for Griffin Pond. And so I think they're faring better now that they're really auditing, for lack of a better word, exactly where all the animals are coming
So
from.
they're coming out
So,
possibly spending less
Right, because they're only paying for the animals
that are
specifically
from
from
their area.
the city. So it.
Yeah, but
So they're not gonna give any
Like
pushback.
like a written agreement with them or something like that?
That's, I think it's something worth looking into. that if we agree to it, so that way we know, okay, there's some mechanism in place, but there might be situations where you want there to be a phone call before they take 112 rabbits or whatever the hypothetical situation could be.
Right.
That could be a, you know,
And they did say that they're checking people's driver's license with their address on it so that it can't be somebody from Factoryville that's saying they're from Clark Summit and bringing their dog in. And
Well,
so,
typically a hoarding situation is gonna be 100% verified. It's within our borough, right? Because you're usually going to a residence
Right.
and finding that.
Yeah.
usually it's a
Okay.
stray dog around that's.
Yeah, we're to.
But with
yeah,
the hoarding.
hoarding,
right,
we,
it would
yes,
be
there's,
100% verified because you're finding it at someone's home.
right,
Oh, I see. yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So there's
you're
no question
advising
that we're-
us to maybe put a provision in that someone is notified prior to those
You don't get a
animals just be taken to
$50,000
Griffin
bill.
Pond.
I think it might be worth considering that. And not that you wouldn't say go ahead and do it, but some sort of notice.
You have a heads up before we get a bill for 120 rabbits.
Right.
Oh, right.
And that situation might never present itself. I know historically.
It
it's-
hasn't.
It's
No.
Well, one,
right.
but-
yeah, we have, since I've been here, dealt with one hoarding.
right.
Um,
That was unique and
yeah, thank goodness, it has been unique.
And that's all relative. I believe the one in Dunmore was 17 animals. So
Okay.
it's significant, but not,
120.
but it's
Yeah.
kind of how high is that? It could be, you know, when you're talking about that
That's-
situation, it could
Yeah.
be any number. So that's something I just wanted to let you know that I've had some discussions just with other municipalities, so. I could come back to you with a more specific idea of how we draft it, but just a suggestion.
And also if our police is taking an animal up to the center, they should let Virginia know. And so that we can at least have a heads up on it, you know, that.
I'll
that
make
it-
sure
it-
Chris
It is, yeah.
has that
it is
procedure.
A resident from our borough.
Were we accepting, I know Kathleen had the great idea of maybe just asking for a voluntary donation from our residents, like in a mail out. Were we doing that?
I don't know that we
Kathleen
ever,
had suggested-
I didn't know if that
Sorry.
was possible. Yeah, I just brought that idea up if it could be a possibility.
the next
I don't know
newsletter
if
I
it could be
can,
allowed.
rather than,
Mandatory just to.
yeah,
volunteer
next
anything
newsletter I can
give.
throw in there that we're looking for donations for this purpose, or.
I'm not sure if that's okay. Is it okay to do, like, to
Some sort
get
of
a
fundraising
donation and maybe
event
just
or-
put it toward the Clark Summit area, like,
Right.
to help with that situation? I don't know if that's
Maybe
possible.
they could donate to Griffin Pond with credit for Clark Summit or something.
Like a
that.
credit for Clark Summit?
It would go directly towards our credit, so that way.
I don't know if that's a possibility.
If we start advocating for donations for one organization, we're gonna get
You know
approached.
what? I was thinking
More.
the same thing,
I
Josh.
see.
Yeah. Because we're gonna have other organizations saying, can you put this in your next?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay. And I have noticed just in the obituaries, a lot of donations have been going to the center up there, so I think that funding wise, they seem to be doing pretty good, so. So far, well, we're only finished with 2 months for this year, but we haven't had any issues come up
No.
yet, so may it continue.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, thank, we have no correspondence. And we had a meeting prior on February 22nd, 23,
an executive session.
right? During subsequent March 1st, we have one
Tonight.
tonight.
Right after this.
Okay, so do we have a motion to adjourn then?
Gary, before you adjourn,
Oh,
I had brought up, we got an email from Virginia concerning grants that were coming out through Lackawanna County, and I had mentioned about the microphones to put on the front tables there. If there's no movement on that, I'd like to make a motion that we move forward with that to get approximately 8 microphones, put one on the dais there for the public to use, 3 on the main table, and 2 on each side where the solicitor and the chief of police sit. so that everybody will be able to hear the communications coming from the table.
Now, this would be from a grant, or we're gonna apply for a grant?
Yeah, we're the county.
Okay.
So we're not buying these until we apply for the grant and see what happens.
Exactly, okay.
Okay.
Good enough. Thank you, Dave. Yeah.
Do you suggest need a second? Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah, there was, he did make a
Okay,
motion.
second.
Okay,
Okay, on the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Favors have it 7-0. Thank you, Dave.
Virginia, could I say, oh, Madam President,
Oh, yes, go ahead.
on a lighter note,
Yeah.
Dave, from a distance here, all of the people on board here tonight of Welsh descent, happy St. David's Day. As we are the sister city,
mhm.
I didn't have anything red to wear. I was gonna wear leeks maybe or something.
I know, no leak.
Sometimes it's not.
Oh,
Thank you, Harry, for remembering.
I hope you're wearing red.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, though, Mayor. That was
Well, thank you. I just thought I'd recognize that we are a sister city.
absolutely, thank
Great.
you. Okay, so
Motion to adjourn?
we've adjourned and we're going to go into executive session.
Right, okay, so we'll go into as soon as people leave, and I'm gonna disconnect from YouTube at this point.